people just want to help others as well. So I show them how to actually learn the strategies and implement them, not just in their life, but in other people's lives as well. So the message could be shared even further.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Tansel Ali. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to connect with you. Please tell us, what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Australia, Melbourne, Australia.
All right. Which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
I have no idea. You just sent me a request to be on a podcast, so you tell me what brings me to you.
Well, I can say that you intrigued me and what you do and how you do it. There's one other guy I've heard of. He's pretty legendary in the US for speaking, and after meeting individuals at the beginning of the seminar, he says everyone's name during his speaking. And then I bounced you up, connected with you online. So I was intrigued by what you do. Tell us, how do you do what you do with memory?
Yeah, look, I guess it's something that I was always skeptical of with memory improvement. I never thought people could actually, remember names or memorize passwords or things like that. And I always thought I had a terrible memory. And then I came across one of my friends who said, Tansel, I can remember 40 random objects, back to front, any order. And I thought, there's no chance you're able to do that. So I tested him out and he got everything correct. And I thought, wow, this is quite amazing. What is it? Is it a trick? You have to show me. And he said, no, it's not a trick. It's just memory techniques. And I thought, what's this memory techniques business? I was never taught anything like this at school. So I, Googled it up, I researched it, I read books, and I found out that these techniques actually worked. So, I just practiced and, entered competitions, and lo and behold, I've sort of won competitions and, taught people all around the world. And here I am, I guess, being a so-called memory expert.
A so-called memory expert. Oh, you're the furthest from so-called. You're actually doing this. So who did you learn that ability from? It seems as though there are two themes going on there. One is curiosity and one is taking action. Who did you learn that from?
Well, the curiosity was that was embedded in me because it seemed like a trick, and I didn't think my friend was that smart, to be honest. So I thought there has to be some sort of a trick. And when I was able to do the same thing he did, I thought this is amazing stuff. So the curiosity kicked in, and I guess the more and more you start to see success, the more hungrier you get as well. So that's how the action took place. It wasn't huge desire to be good in the area or anything like that. It was just a huge curiosity to think, wow, I've had a really bad memory all these years and suddenly it's improved. How far can I actually go with it? So that's essentially what happened.
When you look around, is there anyone in your family that does take similar action the way you would have?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, probably my grandparents, because they were entrepreneurs and, they came to Australia very young and they opened up businesses here and did fairly well. I guess taking action and making sure that they were working hard. And, my grandparents would always say to me, look, make sure you do a good job, so the quality of the work had to be good. And, I guess that's what I found by working in memory is that it's not just about showing people the technique, it's about seeing the impact from it. And I guess that's what motivates me to do what I do because I see a lot of success once I start training people. And it's the best thing in the world to be able to see someone who said they've got a really bad memory to then being able to learn faster or having an impact in life. So that's what spurs me on.
And where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect with you, who is interested in learning?
Yeah, online. So I've got social media, so they can connect on Instagram or Facebook or, on my website, tanselali.com. But generally, it's, you don't necessarily have to connect with me. You can connect with so many other people. Like you said, there's people in the US, there's people all over the world. I always say to people, just go out and, research this stuff. learn the techniques. You'd be surprised at how far you go with it.
What's one other thing you've done consistently over the last 3 years?
It's a very good question. I guess it's more about because I'm a coach for memory, so I've just been coaching consistently for well the past 17 years, I guess.
Wow.
And yeah, for me, it's more about having an impact, not just individuals, but society. So I guess that's my consistent effort. I've also been speaking as well for, close to equal amount of time. And I find that, the more consistent I'm at it, the more I'm able to provide a better quality service, if that makes sense. So yeah.
How does it make you feel like looking back from now to then, the past 17 years, when you see what you've been doing and what you've accomplished?
Yeah, it's funny. I really look at accomplishments. I always look at, well, what impact am I having on people? I know I've won competitions and I've, memorized phone books and I've done some freaky memory stuff, but the reality is how have I helped people with these skills? And that's what I look back at. And if I've helped a group of people or if I've changed someone's life, then for me, that's the biggest, I guess, biggest high that I can get out of memory. And that's the most rewarding. And that's what keeps me going as well.
Why would you suggest to someone that's listening that they focus on making an impact as opposed to all the bells and whistles that can go with it?
Yeah, that's right. Because yes, I can try and be a coach and a speaker and make the dollars and whatnot. But at the end of the day, if you're not having an impact on someone, that's all irrelevant. So I just focus on really helping people, helping other people be coaches as well and memory coaches because a lot of people just want to help others as well. So I show them how to actually create an impact, how to actually learn the strategies and implement them, not just in their life, but in other people's lives as well. So the message could be shared even further.
Love it. Amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Tansel Ali. Tansel, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm blue Caribbean water. Tansel, what's your earliest childhood memory?
Probably seeing my sister born, or I actually not seeing her born, but remember when she was in my mother's arms. I would have been about 3 years old. And yeah, I was scared to get on the bed and hold her because I thought I might have dropped her, So that was my earliest memory.
Why do you think this particular memory is so clear?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I just have this particular visual, and it must have been a highly emotional state because, whoever has a baby, it's generally very, very emotional. And you see not just yourself, but you see other people getting excited by it. So I think maybe the emotions subconsciously somehow got to me, and I still remember the visual, the angle, and everything like that. So yeah, fairly bizarre.
Giving the details of what you remember there, how do you see it connecting to who you are today?
To be honest, I don't really see that much from it, how it connects to me today. The only thing that I can think of is that I'm a big family person. So I really love being around, my kids and my family, and, everything I do is pretty much, for them and for my community and society. So, when I say family, I generally mean the whole community that I work for here in Australia and around the world. So that's how I see myself. And it's that family connection that potentially brings out the memory expert in me.
Interesting. Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Go for it.
I love the concept of the detail oriented aspect of your mind, even at that tender age. I was looking at something online where you were explaining to someone on tanselali.com, and you were explaining to them how it works, and you were applying. I think it was the guy's name was Steven. You was explaining how to remember Steven, and then you drew the arm, the strong arm, and then you said stiff, and you were going with that, right? But to see you as a child looking at your mother and the details that went with the memory that created the embedding in your mind, it's really intriguing how you've used that somewhat for the limited aspect of what I've seen, right? And understanding how you do this to create what's necessary to remember other things.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I mean, that's what we generally remember. Remember experiences. That's the essentially one of the highest forms of remembering. Generally remember something that's said to us or written because we have to encode that into an image. Image is powerful, but the next level up from image is to experience it and feel it. So once you start experiencing something, then it gets embedded deeper into memory.
Hmm. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Well, I had in there that was back in the metal days. I used to listen to a lot of Metallica and Megadeth, and I think I put down in your podcast sheet the Hangar 18 by Megadeth.
Yeah, how dare you forget what you put down, right? Like if you forgot what you put in there, I'd be like, what? I guess you could put like 100 names in there and remember if you wanted, right?
Yeah, that's right. But that was an age where I really got into music as well. A couple of years later, I started playing guitar, but before then, it was just getting really excited about a new form of music that I thought, wow, this is really exciting,
Yes.
and almost gave me a new, I guess, new hobby of
Hmm.
just listening to music and buying CDs and cassette tapes back then. So yeah, it was a really exciting time being 12.
All right, my friend. Well, we have now arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes, go for it.
Tansel, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes,
Are you married?
yes,
Do you have children?
yes,
Do you believe in God?
yes,
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
yes, I do.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Whew, more than 3 hours? Probably not,
All right.
unfortunately.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes,
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
less than 8 hours.
How often do you read?
Every day.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Tansel Ali, what would you say that is?
To be honest, it's more about, for me, be curious and enjoy life.
Love it. All right, my friend. Well, this has been a great pleasure. Before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Oh, look, I just appreciate your time and thank you so much for having me on your show and wish you all the greatest success. Thank you.
Hey, same to you, my friend. Really love your humility. Really, really appreciate it. Tansel Ali, again, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-minute convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.